Hello, my name is Ross Beamish. I am the head of media here at Wycliffe College. I have been asked by the student Emily Riley to do a commentary, viewer's commentary, on A2 music video product, which is called Dog Days Are Over. I'll also do a commentary on my responses to her digipack and her magazine advert. Before I begin, I should say that I have had nothing to do with the production process of this product whatsoever. I will be involved in the moderation of the marking at the end of the process, but I have had nothing to do with actually helping to create it, and the first that I have seen of it was only very recently. I've only seen it once prior to recording this, so these are true audience responses, and I shall keep it as if I'm an audience member rather than a media teacher. So, to begin with, this will be my reaction to her music video. Should just cue it up. Also, I should say that I'm wearing these so that the audio of the video does not interfere with the recording of this video. So I shall start now. My initial response is wonderful opening shot, really fantastic colour isolation, which grabs my interest straight away. And I'm straight away, it's quite clear who the performer is in this, even if she's not performing, which I thought was quite a strong visual. Now, for the genre of the music, I imagine it's some degree of some kind of folk or alternative folk style genre, which is something that I quite like myself. So this is the kind of music I would like to listen to, and this is actually a kind of music video that I think would work quite well in conjunction with that. I love the shots of the children, and if I am the target audience for this, I would imagine other people would be too, of my age, not necessarily my gender, but my age group, my generation. And my age group and my generation tend to have children of this age, and these shots do strongly remind me of my own children, which interestingly straight away helps create a degree of interest. I love the subtlety of the counted angles and so forth, and these beautiful shots of the children playing for the reasons I've already said. And the lip sync I've just noticed is absolutely spot on. So lovely shot with the grubby face and the dog, of course. Lovely shallow depth of field as well. Now, I know I'm beginning to speak more like a media teacher, but all of these little things I'm sure would work for a layman as much as me, of just how much someone would enjoy this music. Performance is wonderful. Those range of shots, different locations, really very good. Quite interesting to have the harp in the background, which I think kind of links very well with this type of music and this type of performer. Lovely edit there with the hi-fi. I think, as a viewer, the essence of this, the energy in this song, particularly with the performer and the feelings and so forth that are going along, really is well embodied, not just by the performance of who's in it, by the performer and the children, but also by the type of shots and the camera movements. Now, in terms of the narrative that's going on, it's slightly confusing. But I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, because I'm still quite interested, and I'll definitely come back and rewatch this. And I imagine it's to do with something of a relationship between these children, and we'll have to see where this goes. I love the shot of the hands slapping in the water as well. It's a real nice subtle use of just the camera here with silhouettes that seems to be there's one that seems to be a recurring theme right back from the start. This kind of reminds me of the Help for Heroes stuff. I don't know whether that's intentional or not, but obviously that's about honour and duty and so. Nice range of shots of this performer actually. Clever superimposition. Okay, so obviously there's some degree of time changing, and that bloom is a motif that's reoccurring, and And the drawing, I'm sure there's something coming around the corner here about how these children are developing their relationship. And here the performer seems to collect it. So, and then a little fade to maybe suggest that she is one and the same with the child. I remember the first time I saw this, like I said, I've only seen this once before, and I remember thinking it was quite ambiguous about the ending and the linking of the balloon to the child and the children, and how quickly it was that the news report flashed on the screen, and it didn't really give me chance, and it still hasn't actually, to try and figure out what's going on. Boy missing, found. Was he found alive? Was he found dead? I guess it doesn't really matter that much, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having ambiguity in a music video, because of course it's a music video. But I would have maybe, as a viewer, it would have been nicer just to linger a little bit further on it so that I could have interpreted it a bit easier maybe, or at least come up with my own reading. Because I'm left with these active questions, but primarily I'm wondering what it was I just saw rather than trying to figure out the answer to that. I think it's beautifully shot. It's definitely a music video that I'd happily sit back and watch on a music video TV station. Or on YouTube if it was to come up, and I think it's perfectly in tone, in fitting with the song. I love the choice, as I said before, with the children, and I like the music. It's the kind of music that I'd listen to, and if I am of that generation, like I said, as the target audience, having children, it connects to me on an emotional level, and of course, an emotional response leads to a strong response for target audience engagement. So I think in that regard it's very strong, and it's certainly helped with a high degree of skill with camera work and editing and so forth, and I don't think you need to be a media teacher to appreciate that. I think it's quite clear that just anybody could see that it's slick, it's well put together, it's well executed, and it's well delivered as well. So that's my response, just from maybe an audience perspective, having watched this now for the second time. With regards to the music video, I'm just going to have a look at the additional ancillary tasks as well, which you'll see first and foremost. So let's start with the digipack then. Okay, so looking at the digipack right now, I guess the first thing I'd have to ask myself as a potential buyer of this product is this something that I could see on the shelf of HMV? Firstly, yes, definitely. I think it's a very professional product. Secondly, does it suit the genre of this type of music? Yes, absolutely. I think that the connotation that is linked with the balloons, the motif that's linked with the balloons, as well as with the colour design and the shot choice and the model choice as well, I think links well very strongly with this type of music. And of course, the performer being, she's front, but she's not quite central on the front cover. But it is slightly alternative, isn't it? So I think that is a brave choice to have chosen that photo, not because it's an obtuse photo. Actually, I think it's a brilliant photo. But ordinarily, you'd put the model front and centre right in the middle, and that's off to one side. And I think that quirkiness actually really suits the genre of music. I think the choice of fonts is just absolutely brilliant, really, and of course fonts are always difficult to choose appropriately. And of course, as ever, there is worthy of note, of course, as a teacher I'm going to say this, but just anyone looking at it would see that there's a strong degree of colour design that links throughout this. The reds are very are omnipresent, should we say, in almost every one of the photos to one degree or another. As are the kind of skin tones linked from this boy's skin into the sky for the CD tray insert, even the stone tones as well, and some light greens as well from the kind of natural aspect. And this song and the video and the digipack seem to have a nice synergy of life that's involved in there. So I'd be sad if the boy was dead. I'd hope he was just found and he was safe and sound, and then they got over it. And I will look finally now at the advert. And again, there's that wonderful motif that is repeated, an image that's been repeated from the inside of the CD insert tray. So nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And I think that this is an advert that I would have no surprise in seeing in an appropriate magazine, maybe something like Q or so forth, that might have some kind of more alternative but slightly mainstream alternative music in there. The strong synergy I can see now between the front cover and the advert of choice of font, but also other fonts that have been specifically chosen for the text of the release date and the different media that this is going to be released in. And I like, actually, I've just noticed for the first time that vinyl is chosen on here. Of course, vinyl being kind of a retro throwback that's growing in popularity that I think fully suits this genre of music for it. So I think actually credit should go there to Emily for a nice subtle choice of correct medium that her album would also be released in addition to the CD digipack. It's interesting that Cosmopolitan seems to rate this artist as well as The Guardian 5 stars. As I said before, I think that the video itself is highly professional as a product. It is well constructed, although slightly ambiguous towards the end, and maybe the editing pace is slightly confusing. Could have done with a little bit more time for us to resolve our understanding of what was going on. And that is very strong, but maybe the two strongest elements are actually these ancillary products. I think the poster is wonderful. No reason to think why this wouldn't be in a professional magazine, and linked with the digipack as well. You can see that, as I said before, on the shelf of HMV. So all in all, just as a viewer admiring this work, I think it's very high marks is what I'd give it. I'd certainly be very happy to watch that music video again, as I'm just about to after recording this video. And I'd buy this album, and I would be happy to have seen the advert in the magazine. So all credit to Emily. I hope she does well, and well done.